can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but supposedly they've taken that off the table. But they were going to, last week, they were going to hang on Thursday or Wednesday. One, they were going to hang I think, 837 people, and they didn't hang anybody. So we're just going to have to see what happens with Iran. Is the military option off the table? It wouldn't improve the lives of any. What improved the lives of people are people that are living. I saved probably tens of millions of lives in the wars. You know, if you add up the numbers, just if you look at any one of those wars, you're talking about millions of people. You multiply times 8. But when you look at India and Pakistan, that could have been 10, 15, 20 million people. Could have been more than that. So I saved millions of people. So that to me is the big thing. Listening to the fake news a little bit, and I'm not blaming anybody. I blame ourselves. I think we've done a much better job than we're able to promote. We're not promoting.
Nobody's on with me yet.
And we're sort of letting
Nobody's on with me yet.
care of itself. One of the reasons I'm doing
There you go.
this conference, I think it's important.
It's not.
Taken a mess.
Somehow it's never
Really
actually
good.
live.
It's going to get even better. But if you look at prices from a year or a year and a half ago, you look at the Biden prices, they were way up through the sky. And, you know, they use the word affordability.
Which
They
one?
just say affordability and they don't talk about it. They created the affordability problem, and we are solving it. We have solved a lot of it. Again, everybody agrees in this room, I think, gasoline prices have come per gallon way down. When that happens, everything else comes down, but they've come down way down. Many of the groceries have come way down. It's all happening, and it's happening strong. But if you go back a year and a half, 2 years, take a look at those prices and look at the prices now. Where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
Nice
You made,
place.
thank you. You made a condition that the political prisoners should be free. It seems that they are not being as fast as they promised in the beginning. Would that be an issue for the current government?
They've agreed that they're going to let, I guess, most of them out. Depends on what they did, but they have released a lot of. Released a lot of political prisoners in Venezuela.
Testing, testing.
I don't want to tell you that.
Testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. What is the sound level? What is the sound level? If I want to be able to speak back here, can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Back here. Seems like you can. Okay. Alright, now what the fuck did I say this was going to be about? It is Trump hammers Davos. Trump hammers Davos. I don't know. It's bothering me. I want this in a better spot. In a more like permanent spot. Where I can just be like right here maybe. Can you hear me here? like to not have to fucking pardon my
I do,
language.
actually. I think God is very proud of the job I've done.
Oh.
And it's against the religion. You know, we're protecting a lot of people that are being killed. Christians,
Yeah, but it's in my way.
Jewish people, lots
This
of people are
doesn't
being
work
protected by me
for
that
me.
wouldn't be protected by another type of precedent. No, I think a lot of
That's
people
the
are very proud of
problem.
the job we've done. We've had an amazing year. This
It
has
just
been one of
doesn't
the greatest years. Even some people that wouldn't necessarily
work for me.
love me instinctively, they're saying this
get
was an
my
incredible year.
mouse,
We've had an
bring it
incredible year
home.
economically.
Then,
Our border was a disaster.
okay.
People poured. It was an invasion into our country of a lot of very bad people. Good people too, but a lot of very bad people from prisons and.
Good evening, everybody. Let's get started. And I am Chase Bollinger, and this is Bowgrass Industries, or Chase of Bowgrass Industries. And today, there's been a lot of talk, by a whole lot of people about what's going on with Greenland. And honestly, this setup tonight is just, it's not given. Sorry, I got in late. It was a long day. And my setup is a little different tonight. I'm trying to get this a little bit better situated. But I still want to get on here and share some of the events of the day as I see them. I am definitely going to get this moved here soon. But one of the main things that needs to be happened today, Scott Bessent spoke at Davos in Switzerland, I believe. I'm gonna have to. I am having a brain fart. Davos is Denmark, maybe. So it is Switzerland. Good. Okay. I was double unsure. Thank you guys for sitting with me as I double check myself. But he was asked about it, and Speaker Mike Johnson also spoke, and this is from Forbes on Fox Business. And thank you guys for putting this out there.
President Trump's considerations and thoughts about Greenland, and we will get into that, as well as the U.S. economy and the global economy as well. So, Secretary, there's so much to cover. Let me kick it off right now with just that, because I want to talk about trade and tariffs. It seems that the president certainly has set the tone before he even arrives tomorrow. So we'll get your thoughts on that, as well as AI, about the NATO alliance, as well as the macro story. And I will also bring up something that you mentioned earlier, which is the Draghi report. The reason that I'm strolling here is because I wanted the programming to catch up with us, so that we could begin live at 8:30. And in fact, we are beginning right now. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'm sitting now with the U.S. Treasury Secretary. Secretary, let me begin on trade and tariffs, because President Trump seemed to set the tone of conversation even before he has arrived by threatening tariffs on our European allies until they support his plans to acquire Greenland. How do you justify taking over a country when, in fact, Denmark and Greenland have said they are not interested?
Well, Maria, I think the president has a very strong view on Western Hemispheric security and believes that the U.S. should not outsource our national security. He believes that Greenland is essential for the Golden Dome missile shield. And he also,
I enjoy listening to Scott Besson. The way he says things is so matter-of-factly. He has a specific view of the security of the Atlantic Hemisphere.
President, as usual, it's the move after the move that as part of NATO, I think the president is worried that if there were an incursion into Greenland, the U.S. would be called upon to defend Greenland. Greenland's becoming more and more attractive for foreign conquest, and
I have a question. Can anybody name a time that a European country in the last 100 years has gotten into a war where we didn't get drug into it somehow? I almost feel like we can go farther back than that. At least another 20 years. Pretty much. Now I know, you know, there's a couple civil wars that we didn't necessarily really get involved in. Only some of our special forces or some of our CIA was involved in Georgia and Serbia and blanking on a couple of them. However, actual wars where they were fighting, Vietnam, that was the French. World War II, that was the French. I'm not but World War II, World War I, as you can see, we are pretty tied at the hip. As we spoke last night, and I talked about how Greenland, all of its infrastructure was built by us back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, not by Denmark, even though it supposedly is a province of Denmark. And these people are living impoverished. I'm not saying that they should be lovers of money or anything of the such. What I am saying is, seeing as we have been such close partners and allies, and the fact that it is being underutilized, and there is 56,000 of you that speak Greenlandic, because Americans kept the Germans from taking your island in World War II. I mean, we went over it last night. There was several incursions on the island by the Germans during World War II. Denmark lost.
very strongly believes that it must be part of the United States to prevent a conflict rather than getting the U.S. engaged in ex post into a hot conflict.
So Greenland is not expected to be able to have the capacity to stop any potential.
I also want to point out, when they try to threaten Russia, don't they always try to drag us into it? Do you guys not always try to drag us into it? You try to drag America into your stuff all the time. Not upset about it. I understand. we are allies, we are friends. And I am with that. However, friends work with friends. And you know it, and I know it, that we have to get our own resources together if we're going to be able to defend ourselves in future conflicts. That's just all there is to it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. If we do not get ourselves together, get out the people that are destroying our country, take back our education system, if we do not do this in the West will fall. If we do not go back to God and country, the West will fall. This is not a if, but a when. We know that the West falls in the end. It speaks about it in the Bible. Revelation chapter 18, I believe it is. The great whore of Babylon. Oops. Went to the concordance. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her people, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled up to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning. I want you to remember this. That is verse 8, 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Okay? Verse 8, it says, in a day. Now watch. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So, in just 2 verses, because that's verse 10 right there, we've jumped from a day to an hour. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Judgment cometh quickly, saith the Lord. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner vessel of ivory, and all manner vessels of the most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich of her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made all rich, all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians, and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by the sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. Okay. So I know we got a little deep here. But what I'm getting at is we know that the West will fall in the end. That time comes. But when we fight for God and stand for Him, He protects us. And in His will, all things are done. I believe that God wants us to stand for Him now. Stand for Him. You saw the video of Don Lemon breaking into the church with all those other people, violating the First Amendment of those people. You witnessed it. I witnessed it. And what did he say? He said, this is just the beginning of things. And he meant it. And they meant it. So it is very important that we work together to arm ourselves so that we are not lambs before the slaughter. Jesus did not want us unarmed. He said, he who does not have a sword, sell his cloak and go buy one.
Potential missiles that could hit the United States. In other words, Greenland without U.S. ownership makes the United States vulnerable. Is that the president's main complaint?
Well, I think it's that, and that the U.S., there's the opportunity for the U.S. to become embroiled ex post into a kinetic war if another country moved in on Greenland, and no country is going to assert control of Greenland if the U.S. controls Greenland.
Secretary, what do you want to say about the response here? I mean, the European Union is pushing back, saying we are not going to complete our trade deal with the United States because of this.
Then who are you going to trade with? China, so they can steal everything that you make? I mean, seriously. It's not dumb of the Chinese to do that. It's very smart of them to do that. However, that does not make it smart for you to do business with somebody who will steal your ideas and then profit off of them. That doth not make good sense. You do business with people you can trust, who will not screw you over. You know? And in the last 40 years, there has been over $20 trillion worth of intellectual property theft by the Chinese government. And that's just all there is to that. That's not up for debate. That's not speculation. That's just reality. That's objective fact. So why would one turn down trade deals with us to go in that route? If that's the route you want to go, I say go. I say go. Go, go, go. Because I'm tired of fighting Europe's wars. Tired of giving Europe money for war. I don't mind defending you guys. I don't. When we're being paid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but if you want us to keep protecting you, you're going to have to pay us. That's how things work in the real world. When someone does a job, they get paid. They don't pay to go to work. Nobody pays to go to work. Well, some business owners. But it's generally just a start. Once you get going, then you're expecting to make something in return, right? Something comes back in. So the something that comes back in needs to be more than you're putting out. Otherwise, it's pointless. You go broke slowly. So, what's it going to be, Europe? Are we going to be allies? And you're going to accept that since we've spent $30+ billion a year, not including all the research and development, all the weapons technology that we've had to make sure that we are the number one animal on this earth, so that nobody would screw with you guys, so that nobody would come and take your countries over the last 125 years? How much stuff we've just given you, how much money we've given you. Give. Oh, you better give us more money. We spend billions protecting you guys. We spend $5.5 billion alone just protecting Germany every year. And they have the third largest economy on earth. question is the world safe if we don't have Greenland? I feel like NATO isn't as safe if we don't have Greenland, because I see no real point in NATO if we don't have Greenland. I don't see a point in a place that you guys have not done anything with, that the United States has built, being allowed to be sold to somebody that is our enemy, our foreign competitor. I showed the articles yesterday from 2018 and 2025, and even one from 2026. How China is trying to get in Greenland. How they want to be friends. I'm sure the elites on the island want to be friends with China, because the elites will get paid. There's only 56,000 people on the island. You only have to get 26,000 people to vote for you, right? How many of those people are even of voting age? That's something that I actually need to look up, is the average age of people in Greenland. The median age in Greenland is 35 years old. Really, they're playing Greenlander. That's a bad way to. How many? They have 7,000 people, and I'm rounding up, under 18 in Greenland. They have 7,000 children total. $32,000 of them are between 25 and 64. And I just showed you that 7,000 were children. That means that of the 56,000 people who live on Greenland, that basically 19,000 of them are retirees. I'm going to put it in military terminology. Yeah, here we go. Okay. As you can see on the screen, and I will go down to this, they are they have basically a core worth of people. One core worth of people, which is between 20 to 45,000 people, or 2 to 5 divisions, which are 10 to 15,000 men. So let me put this in another way. On active duty, they're trying to be funny. Well, it says that we have 450,000 active duty. So that would be 10 corps, 10 fully staffed corps just in our army. And that's mainly men. Your corps in Greenland, your one, which is your entire breeding population, let's be honest, that one that is your entire breeding population is a mixed boat. It's going to be both male and female. And it's not fully staffed. It's 32,000. It's like a half-staffed corps with none of them having, any military experience, or probably hardly any gun experience, or any kind of experience, except living in Greenland, or however you guys talk. Seriously, like, what are you thinking? This is not a joke. This is dead serious. What are you thinking stating the things that were stated by your country the other day? That you guys would fight us? That's a joke. That is literally a joke. That's not even a good joke. Our civilian population would massacre you. You don't even have to get a lot of us. Seriously. They tell us how much money you guys are worth, and as hungry as we are over here, and as rough as it is over here, and I promise you, I can go get 100 guys off the street today, right now, and we will come and take your country. That's what you're not understanding. You guys have robbed us to the point where our people in our cities are starving. And they're starving to the point where they're ready to riot over anything. This is not a joke. This is not a game. The deal will be made in Davos, or February 1st will be a very interesting day. I don't think tariffs will be the top of the line by February 1st because we have 12 months till our restrictions kick in, where no more trading will be done in rare earth minerals to the United States. That means factories need to be being built now. Ground being broken today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, right now. And if you're honest and truthful with yourselves, we've always been really cool, Greenland. None of us have ever had problems with you guys. Like, honestly, we built your country for free. And we've been cool. We've been cool. You know what I mean? Like, all the cool shit you guys have gotten to do. Like, most of the flights there, military flights. I mean, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't want to be part of the United States. Shut the fuck up. And come on board. I mean, like, it's plain and simple. That's our active duty. That's not called up. That's not nothing. We have more. What do you think? What's the weakest branch we got, huh? What's the weakest branch we have? Probably Coast Guard, maybe. They're not weak. I mean, like, I'm not calling you out, Coast Guard. I think you guys do a damn good job. We have an actual full corps of Coast Guard members with a lot better equipment and a lot more ships. How many ships does the U.S. Coast Guard have? $243 cutters and about 1,402 boats. This includes various types of vessels such as patrol ships, tenders, tugs, and icebreakers. Cool. All right. Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. The whole Danish Royal Navy is 127 ships? Hold on. That can't be right. That can't be right. Really? Hold on. Let me let me do that again. Let me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Our Coast Guard could take your country. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here at all. I respect the Danish. I think, you have a lot of beautiful women and beautiful architecture and pretty cool sounding accent. However, let's be honest. In the last 150 years, you guys haven't been really known for fighting. At least not for winning. I'm really not trying to be rude. And I hope it doesn't come off as such because we are allies. But have you ever been in that conversation with your friend that's the little guy that likes to run his cocksucker all the time? Have you ever been in that conversation with him? And he just keeps going to the bar with you and then starting shit with people and expecting you to beat their ass for him. And at some point in time, you've got to take him off to the side, you know, after like the third dude that you beat up for him for no reason but that he ran his mouth, and tell him that next time he's going to have to fight the guy on his own, you know, or, you know, just give him a little smack in the mouth and tell him, quit that shit. Because in all reality, if he does it again, you're going to help him because we're friends, right? But I'd really like to stop getting drug into other people's shit. I don't know, who am I? I just think about some things sometimes, and I wonder, you know, like, how many ships does Greenland have? I bet you that this is going to be a paltry number. I kind of want to include fishing boats. Oh, he gave me the same number as Denmark. That's so sweet. So I wonder when this got updated. Because I bet you if you went back just a week or 2 weeks, that this would have said how many ships Denmark used for Greenland. I bet if you went back a couple weeks, that's what it would say. Oh, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. So that's when you guys updated this. And then the previous one is last year. Yeah. Yeah, the 9th. Hello. It. Yeah, it's just talking about the Russian missiles and stuff. Sorry, getting off track, guys. I don't even know if anybody's in here watching with me. Oh, well, thank you for whoever's been in here for an hour. That's awesome. I don't know who you are. If you put something in the chat, I'll say hi. Just been kind of going on a bit of a rant here. Sorry. So basically what I'm getting at is, as we can see, they are in no position to really have a conversation about this. Denmark has 88,000 troops total. They have 5 million people total. Greenland, and I'm not saying we take Denmark. Not that we couldn't, because we can. Like, I mean, we have enough troops in Denmark right now that we can take Denmark. Like, that's not a joke. Like, you guys are really dumb. We have 34,500 active duty United States military personnel in Europe right now. That's just in Germany. That's not the only country that we have them stationed in. Now, let me go back to this and do this. See, that's the lie they like to tell. And in this one it says, we only have 34,500 active duty military troops in Europe right now. But we have 100,000 active duty U.S. military. Because I feel like okay. First of all, this is a bullshit number. Okay. However, a commonly cited estimate places the total active military personnel across all NATO members states at around 3.3 to 3.5 million. This figure includes ground forces, naval personnel, and air force personnel. Yeah, no. I dislike this because this is a lie, and this is a lie being propagated. Okay, you guys are playing games, and so we will play. See, this is why this pisses me off. Okay, so 2.86 million of them are ours. Okay, shut the front door. And the $30 billion we've been spending protecting all of Europe for these last 80 years since World War II is over, and the fact that you have done nothing with Greenland, it is time that you surrender the keys to the kingdom. To the king. And at that 30 years, 30 billion a year, we'll do 70 years. We'll give you a discount. Because we're friends, right? Because you say it'll be I've heard 700 billion is what they say that you want for Greenland. That's what I'm hearing, the number that's being put out. How much for Greenland? Around $700 billion is the number being floated out right now by the European Union and everybody. That's what you guys want. You guys want money. You guys want to act tough, but what you want is money. Okay. Here's the deal. Okay. 30 billion, 70 years. You do the math. Okay. I'll do it for you. That's $2.1 trillion. You guys owe us $1.4 trillion. And we still get Greenland. Next question, please. I am so sick of the weak, sycophantic leadership in our country. I am sick of the corrupt, weak leadership. No is a good word. It is not a curse word. I know. People are like, well, that's what they're telling us about Greenland. No, I'm saying no, you can't tell us we're not taking Greenland. I'm saying no, you are not extorting us anymore. No, we're not paying into this anymore if we are not getting rewarded. If you are not going to at least let us get Greenland, that is a very small ask. Something you're doing nothing with, that you will never do anything with because you are incompetent wastes of time. You guys are so self-absorbed, so high and mighty in Europe, and you do nothing but preach to us about how terrible we are. We're not the ones who went around and enslaved the world. We're the ones who freed it. And if people took up a lot more American spirit, there'd be a lot more freedom around the world. Now, the American spirit was built by ingenuity, and it was built by guns, and it was built by God. Our God, the Christian God, the true God. He is the same father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And if Muslims are claiming descendancy through Ishmael, technically, he is also the father of them. However, I think you should go back and read your Bible, because it says the sons of Ishmael will always have strife. You will be powerful and strong nations. Men of power, it says. But you're always going to be fighting amongst each other. Sounds like you guys, actually. And it also says something. Oh yeah, that you're not the the chosen branch. Good news for that. The good news is that Jesus came down and died for all of us, you guys included. I pray that you see the light someday, that he gets through to you. I pray that the pedophile Muslim prophet, Muhammad, is exposed for what he was, which is a pedophile. I'm sick of people saying that this country is not a Christian nation. I am sick of that. We most assuredly are a Christian nation. And they say $700 billion. $700 billion. You owe us $1.4 trillion. That's my counter offer. If you don't pay up, we're going to tariff you. We're going to tariff you, and we're still going to take Greenland. How about that? I feel like there's a lot of negotiation that can happen here. I don't feel like you guys are doing a very good job protecting yourselves from the recourse of said negotiations. Either you're going to buy your energy from Russia or you're going to buy your energy from America. Since we're 62% of the market now, it's looking pretty close like you're going to be buying it from us. And we haven't even started getting all of Iran's. But that's coming, sir. I don't believe there will be sanctioned oil being sold anywhere in the next 3 years. And at President Donald Trump, if you ever do get a glimpse of this, letters of marque, please. Us country boys and city folks are praying for those letters of marque. We would just love to feel special like the Europeans. Be Marquesas. And go get some of these cartel members for you. We would love it. We're begging you, Trump. Please, please let us be pirates. I mean, privateers. I really don't think the world has any idea. I do not think it has any idea the devastation that has happened inside this country. In the last 70 years, we have lost 150,000 factories. They're coming back now. But I want that to sink in. 150,000 factories. How many families didn't get to eat because we were sold out by the elites? It really tears me up. But I'm going to read a couple more things. Trump did address global elites in Davos amid tensions over Greenland. Before his departure, Trump expressed confidence that NATO and the United States would reach a deal on the Arctic island that benefits all parties. I don't think we're going to go to war, but I'd really like the Europeans to quit barking, especially you, Macron. Emmanuel Macron. And Brigitte. Now, I'm not an advocate for women beating, but I'm also not an advocate for man beating. I'll tell you what, that was one heck of a slap. You would feel like it. You would feel like it. I promise. Oh, man, you'd want to. Ooh. Oh, can you imagine? You just landed in a foreign country. You're the president of a country. You're going there on a business trip. And you get smacked right as you're walking out the plane on camera in front of the world. I can only imagine how mad. The other day I saw a video of him and he had a red eye. It looked like she'd poked him in the eye again. I don't know. I despise that he is making big talk. And he's not going to back it up. He isn't even protecting his people in his own streets. I have a buddy that lives over there. Wish I got to talk to him more. He works on a project. Anyways, shout out if you ever watch it. You know what I'm talking about. But he had to move out of the city. Paris is where he's from. He had to move out of it because it was dangerous. And he has a wife and kids, and he travels a lot. And it's almost impossible to get a gun. Can't imagine being in a situation like that. Oh, wait, yeah. Here I am in America. If only the rights were for all. No, we have a class system here ourselves. There's no recourse. I pray that the Supreme Court brings some down on us. I pray it brings justice. If your only crime is drugs, and when you're no longer on the drugs, why are you no longer allowed to have guns? If your charge was drugs and you've gotten clean, why can't you get your gun rights back? Make that make sense. You can't. I'm going to leave it on that tonight, guys. It's been a long day. Thank anybody that sat in and listened, and anybody that sees later on. God bless, and have a good night.